Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy Saturday to you all. I'm Alex Finney, and as always, alongside of me is Storm Track meteorologist Michael Smith, who's here to give us a look at the forecast. How are you doing?
I'm doing swell on this Saturday morning.
I think we're kind of matching. We didn't even plan it.
Yeah, you're looking fierce on this Saturday.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. Good morning to you at home. Thanks for joining us. Live look outside. Still dark, still early.
Yes.
Sun up at 6:37. Live look at the Magic City. City lights are on. The sun will be out in full force later on this afternoon. Good morning to you, Birmingham. Checking in at 73. Anniston, what up? 68 right now on the thermometer. 70 in T-Town with a very light east-northeast wind. Hour by hour forecast. Once the sun comes up, temperatures will hang out in the low to mid 70s up until 8 o'clock this morning. By 9 o'clock, a lot of sunshine, lower 80s. And boom, right back into the lower 90s. We topped out at 96 yesterday. Our average high for this time of year is 82, so above the mark. However, I want to show you the Storm Track 7-day forecast right out of the gates on this Saturday morning. Check out Monday, a few storms around, and then look at Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yes, fall is officially here, and it will feel like it. High temperatures come way down into the lower 80s, overnight temperatures in the upper 50s and lower 60s.
Thank you, Michael. Breaking overnight, 4 women have died after a shooting at a mall north of Seattle. Now, a man was airlifted to a local hospital and is in critical condition this morning. Now, this that you're taking a look at here is the scene outside the Cascade Mall shortly after reports of the shooting. Now, we've also learned that police are still searching for a man that they believe is tied to this shooting. Now, this is a brand new video that you're seeing right here. A whole picture of the scene. You can really take it in. Now, police say the man was last seen wearing a gray shirt, and there are reports he is armed with a rifle. Police are also asking people to stay inside as they search for him, and the FBI is helping in the investigation. Well, moving to this, right now protesters continue to march through Charlotte, even past the midnight curfew in the city. Keith Lamont Scott's family has released a video his wife recorded of the shooting. CBS's Kenneth Craig is in Charlotte with continuing coverage this morning.
Peaceful protesters marched in Charlotte Friday night, hours after new video of Keith Lamont Scott's final moments became public.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon. He has no weapon.
Rakia Scott pleaded with police not to shoot her husband as she recorded parts of his fatal police shooting death on her cell phone. She yelled to officers that Scott had a traumatic brain injury and posed no threat.
He doesn't have a gun. He has a TBI. He's not going to do anything to you guys.
Police are heard shouting 11 times at Scott to drop a weapon.
Keith, don't you do it!
It also does not show the actual shooting, but captures Scott lying on the ground after. Attorneys for the Scott family released the footage Friday after 3 nights of protests.
Scott's family and these protesters have been demanding police release their footage of the shooting, which so far investigators have refused to make public.
If I were to put it out indiscriminately and it doesn't give you good context, it can inflame the situation.
Scott's mother had this message for protesters.
Y'all could have a peaceful walk or anything else that y'all want to do, but rioting is not helping the situation and making it worse.
Police agree and prepared for a 4th night of tense protests. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Charlotte.
Well, there's still disagreement over whether a gun or a book was found at the scene of the shooting. Moving now to this story. 1 week after the reopening of Victoryland, there's a new threat to shut it down. This newest development comes after Governor Bentley's office sends a memo to stop operations. Victoryland supporters say the governor is out of line with claims Victoryland is operating illegally. Now, the memo calls for the Macon County District Attorney and Sheriff to put a stop to Victoryland's operations. It also requests details of their planned enforcement by September 30th. Tuskegee Mayor Johnny Ford held a news conference yesterday condemning the actions of the governor and state attorney general. Developing now just 1 year after becoming the top educator for Birmingham City Schools, Superintendent Dr. Kelly Caslin-Gakutan is being let go. Now, the board fired Dr. Caslin-Gakutan Thursday night during a special called meeting. The 6-3 vote comes after frustrations with the superintendent. Now, some pointed out what they believe to be unauthorized use of money on construction projects. Following the board's decision, they plan to move the system in a brand new direction. During that same meeting, the board voted to have Dr. Larry Contri to fill in as interim superintendent. Now, he has been with Birmingham City Schools since 1967. Contri is a Birmingham native and a graduate of Woodlawn High School. Well, it's a big weekend for campaign 2016. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are taking a break and getting ready for Monday's first presidential debate. CBS 42's national correspondent Mark Meredith is in our Washington newsroom this morning with new poll data.
This weekend, Donald Trump has a reason to celebrate going into the first debate. New poll numbers show his campaign is surging not only in battleground states, but states that were leaning Clinton that were considered toss-ups now appear to be solid red. Donald Trump back on the campaign trail this weekend with the rally in Virginia, but he also will have a chance to follow up on some comments he made Thursday after he praised law enforcement's response the last couple of days after we saw that chaos in Charlotte. Here's just a brief clip of what he had to say.
The men and women in blue need your support. They need your thanks and they need your gratitude. They are the line separating civilians and civilization from total chaos.
This weekend, Clinton is set to stay away from the campaign trail, instead focusing on debate prep. However, she's going to have plenty of surrogates on her behalf. We know that her daughter, former first daughter Chelsea Clinton, will be campaigning, and that Clinton will be getting a fundraiser from some famous friends, including SNL alum Amy Poehler. One state we keep watching is Ohio, and this weekend Hillary Clinton is hoping for some famous friends from the cast of The West Wing going into Buckeye territory to campaign on her behalf. That would maybe make a difference. Clinton, though, she needs help. The latest polls show her down about 3 points to Donald Trump. That's within the margin of error, but Clinton had been leading by several points up until the last few days. That's a quick look at where things stand in the race for the White House. In Washington, I'm Mark Meredith.
New this morning, the FBI is releasing nearly 200 pages of notes from its investigation of Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. Now, these notes come from interviews with a number of Clinton's top aides and supporters. Experts say the notes don't reveal any surprising information. Now, the release also comes after it was revealed a top Clinton aide, Cheryl Mills, received a limited immunity deal with the FBI in exchange for cooperating with the investigation. Right now, Fairfield police continue to investigate a shooting that killed 2 men yesterday afternoon. Police say the shooting started at a Chevron on Lloyd Nolan Parkway. Now, 2 people started fighting and then at some point started shooting at each other. One of them got in a car and drove away. Now, the driver of that car wrecked near Gray Avenue, or I should say Gary Avenue, and died on the scene. The other person shot was taken to the hospital and later died. Also, right now, police are trying to figure out who shot a man to death inside a Birmingham motel. Listen to this. An employee at the King's Inn found the man's body yesterday afternoon. It's unclear how long the body was inside that room. Now, we are also working to learn more about this shooting, and we'll bring you the very latest right here on air and also online. And also, don't forget, you can get all of this information on our news app. A Shelby County couple accused of forcing their young son to stay outside without food or water for several days and nights will stand trial. This newest development comes after Matthew and Catherine Rowe were arrested on child abuse charges. Police say the Columbiana couple forced their 7-year-old son to be outside even during very cold weather. They're set to be in court on November 7th to enter a plea. New this morning, a Geneva, Alabama deputy is resigning after writing a Facebook post some are calling racist. Listen to this. The sheriff's office announced Deputy Josh Myers' resignation yesterday. Now, after the Dallas shooting in July, Myers posted on his Facebook page, quote, "Black Lives Matter. You want a war? Well, come and get it." At first, Myers denied creating a post and blamed it on hackers. But after investigating, the Alabama law enforcement agency found that Myers did in fact write that post. Now, Sheriff Tony Helms says the office will not tolerate inflammatory posts. Happening today, the new National Museum of African American History and Culture opens its doors to the public. President Obama will headline the dedication ceremony on the National Mall. The museum chronicles more than 200 years of Black life in America. It's the only national museum devoted exclusively to the documentation of African American life, history, and culture. Excited for that. Well, your time right now, it is 5:10. We've heard that alcohol can be good for our health, but a brand new study is questioning that. Coming up, we have a look at the newest research. But next, a new drug could be approved for hair loss. Just how well the medicine could work for you, we'll let you know about that and much more right after the break here on CBS 42 News. We'll be right back.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. Live look outside. Still dark, still early. Sun up at 6:37. Temperatures not too bad. Good morning to you, Anniston. 68, 73 right now. And the Beham, 70 T-Town with a very light east-northeast wind. Here's what you need to know to get up and go once the sun comes up. Temperatures out of the upper 60s, lower 70s, and quickly into the lower 80s. A lot of sunshine overhead as we head into the morning and afternoon. It's going to be downright hot, topping out in the low to mid 90s again. Okay, big game day, Auburn game day. LSU playing at Auburn. Kickoff at 5 p.m. Temperatures in the low 90s. And Alabama game day, Kent State. Kickoff at 11 o'clock. Temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90. Okay, let's talk about kicking off fall. It officially started on the 22nd, but it's going to feel like it. Look at that. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Front comes through. High temperatures come way down into the lower 80s with overnight lows in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Okay, caught on camera. Check out this incredible video of a volcano erupting in Costa Rica. Now, this volcano has erupted at least 20 times over the past few days, spewing a lot of smoke, gas, and lava from its crater. One eruption reached more than 6,500 feet. Wow. 6,500 feet in the air. And because of that, various airports across the country had to close due to safety concerns with air travel, and ash-covered communities as far out as a 30-mile radius of the eruption. The National Commission for Emergencies continues to keep those in the area safe and more eruptions are likely over the coming days.
Not a good scene there, but
Yikes.
incredible video, though.
It is incredible.
Wow. Absolutely. Well, we're going to look at your health news this morning. Listen to this. It could be a major breakthrough in the treatment of hair loss. Now, researchers say an FDA-approved drug has succeeded in regrowing hair in some nearly bald patients. Almost 7 million people in the United States have hair loss due to the autoimmune disease called alopecia. Now, the FDA has given the green light to a new drug that has succeeded in rehair growth. It's a once-a-day pill that in clinical studies had a 75 to 92% success rate.
This shows that if you can dampen down that immune response and reactivate the hair cycle, that even patients with years, decades of disease can have a clinical response and grow their hair.
The drug can cost up to $10,000 a month, and hair starts to go away when a person stops the drug. Now, researchers are also testing the drug on male pattern baldness. Well, also in health news this morning, we've heard that red wine is good for the heart, but a brand new study suggests that alcohol is not as beneficial as previously believed. Now, a new study finds that drinking alcohol, even in moderation, may increase the size of one of the heart's chambers. Now, this could lead to risk for irregular heartbeat and other health problems. Researchers analyzed data from more than 5,200 people from the same Massachusetts town after measuring their hearts. During the study, having about one alcoholic beverage per day was linked to small increases in the size of the left atrium of the heart. Well, we're so glad that it's the weekend, right? I know I am, but there's some road work you need to watch out for. Real-time traffic anchor Rachel Lundberg, as always, is here to show us the work that could slow us down.
Well, there's construction set for your weekend on I-459 in the northbound direction just east of I-65. Prepare for the delays because there's going to be a double lane closure. 2 left lanes will be closed from Saturday at 8 a.m. until Monday at 5 a.m. over Little Shades Creek, which is mile marker 15, just past I-65 in the northbound direction on I-459. Make sure you join us on Monday for the CBS 42 Morning News. I'll be breaking down your morning commute and giving the all clear to this construction project. For now, that's the latest with your real-time traffic.
Thank you, Rachel. As Wells Fargo workers move on from a phony account scandal, protests continue, and a former employee is getting involved. Kevin Pham used to work for Wells Fargo, and he was furious when reports came out that employees secretly opened accounts under existing customers' names without their knowledge. Now, the news struck a chord with him, and he's now taking to Facebook with a special page to let customers know how he feels. Here's what Pham says about the movement.
Every single day you had to open 10 accounts. Every single day. Every January you had to open 20 accounts. What unites us is stopping the powerful from preying on the powerless.
Pham says he hopes more customers will pay attention to their bank accounts after his messages. In consumer news, a billionaire investor and one of the most respected names in the hedge fund world has been charged with insider trading. The SEC says Leon Cooperman generated substantial illicit profits by purchasing stocks, options, and bonds in Atlas Pipeline Partners, all in advance of the company's sale of a gas facility. The complaint says Atlas stocks soared about 31% once the deal was announced publicly. Forbes says Cooperman is worth just over $3 billion. New this morning, if you love the Backstreet Boys, well, we have good news for you. They're coming to Vegas. They will be holding a larger-than-life residency at Planet Hollywood Hotel and Casino for the next year. The series consists of 18 dates between March 1st and July 1st. Band members are promising an amazing, energetic, fun party show. Tickets go on sale next week. Also new this morning, Pippa Middleton, the sister of Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, has allegedly been hacked. A hacker is now trying to sell some of those pictures that he pulled off her iCloud. It's believed that about 3,000 pictures were taken from her iCloud account. Now, the images are said to include pictures of Pippa and her fiance getting ready for their wedding and pictures of the Duchess of Cambridge and Prince William's children. We are used to seeing rapper Pitbull in music videos with flashy clothes and cars, but he's doing something completely different. He's opening up a brand new charter school. Now, this rapper, he's known to give back to the community, and this was Pitbull at the grand opening of a slam school in Las Vegas. He will serve the schools as the school's ambassador. The school features career building lessons in fields such as sports medicine and sports marketing. The school is expected to grow in size to take in more students. Right there. Well, we have an important update for you if you're planning on going to the Lauryn Hill concert on Sunday in Tuscaloosa. Now, we've learned that the concert has been canceled, and it's because of a change in the singer's tour schedule. Now, if you've bought a ticket, refunds are available where you first bought them. Tickets purchased through Ticketmaster online or by phone will be automatically refunded. Well, your time right now, it's 5:20. Have you ever been so mad that you want to kick a cake? Interesting, right? Well, after the break, why one woman kicked a cake across the grocery store and what she's being charged with this morning. We're going to let you know right after the break here on CBS 42 Morning News. A live look over Birmingham. Happy Saturday. We'll be right back.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back. Well, it's Child Passenger Safety Week, and safety experts are working to teach parents and grandparents the right way to keep children safe in the car. Safe Kids Worldwide says about every 30 seconds a child dies from a preventable unintentional injury. CBS 42 News cameras were rolling as global safety advocate Alana Pinkerton demonstrated the proper way to buckle children to the car and the importance of doing it the correct way. Well, to this story, have you ever been so mad that you've kicked a cake? Think about that. Well, that's what one woman did in a Michigan grocery store, and now she's being charged for doing it. Trisha Cortez allegedly drop-kicked a custom cake across the Kroger store because she didn't like how the decorations turned out. Well, a judge is now sentencing her to 300 hours of community service, and the judge says that she needs a reality check. But here's what Cortez says.
I learned that it's not worth it, that you really need to take time and think about things, and it's okay to be angry, but it's how you react when you are angry.
You are in the middle of the public. Well, along with community service, Cortez was ordered to pay a $500 fine, and she must see a therapist on a regular basis. You know, Michael, we all have those moments when we get so frustrated that we do things that you know, in hindsight we regret, but kicking a cake across a grocery store?
It puts a new spin on the frosting on the cake. Just.
It's true.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad to know that no one got hurt in that process. I didn't hear anything about that, so that's good.
I wonder what her decorations look
I
like.
know. I
Maybe
wonder
they
how
were
bad
really-
it was.
Who knows?
You know?
Well, okay.
Well,
Gonna
let's look at
frost up the
weather.
forecast here.
Yeah, it's fall.
Yes, it is. Gonna feel
get a
like
little
summer
cooler. Ugh.
again today. But just hold your horses, Alex, because
All right.
it's gonna cool off over the next 7 days. Live look outside. Good morning to you, Birmingham and Central Alabama. Temperatures check in the upper 60s, lower 70s. 73 right now. Good morning to you, Birmingham. 68 in Anniston. Tuscaloosa's at 70. Here's what you need to know. Sun up at 6:37, and once the sun comes up, temperatures will rebound out of the 70s quickly into the lower 80s by 9 o'clock this morning. Mainly sunny as we head through the morning and into the afternoon. It's going to be downright hot again. Average high for this time of year, 82, 83. Yesterday we made it to 96. We're going to make a run for the 90s again today. So the fog on here is false. That is from last weekend. So erase and erase right there as well. But what's fact are the numbers on the thermometers. 66. Good morning to you, Hamilton and Gadsden. Pell City coming in at 68. All right, so high pressure right on top of us. That's going to keep us high and dry. Clockwise winds around an area of high pressure, so if they're doing this number coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, look at the warm air spreading north, 72 Kansas City. Okay, here's a cold front that means business. Temperatures are in the low 40s right now in the Mile High City. Denver's at 41, so this front is on the move. This is going to be a big game changer for us as we get into the middle of the upcoming week. So I want to show you storm track radar over the last 24 hours. Showers and storms with some high mountain snow across parts of the Rockies. Futurecast radar is nice and quiet, so I'm going to hopefully hot button this right onto the extended forecast. Boom, I love the hot button. Okay, speaking of hot, 94 today. Overnight temperatures tomorrow morning, upper 60s, lower 70s. Next chance of a couple of showers and or storms Monday at 30%. And then look what happens after what we call faux pas. That means frontal passage. Temperatures come way down into the lower 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, overnight temperatures. Get your coats out in the upper 50s on Thursday morning. Alex?
Yay, I'm so excited that we get to get our coats out and put those flip-flops in, maybe, Michael, for a little bit. You think so? All right. Well, your time right now, it is 5:27. To this story after the break, a father is speaking for the first time after his son is accused of supporting ISIS. Next, we have his thoughts in a story you'll only see here on CBS 42. Live look over San Diego this morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. We'll be right back.
morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. For those that have been watching us, welcome back. For those of you that are just waking up with us, good Saturday morning to you. I'm Alex Finney. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News Weekend. And of course, as always, we start you off with Storm Track meteorologist Michael Smith, who's here to give us a rundown of the weekend forecast. And Michael, fall is here.
Fall is here. Gonna feel like summer again today, but there's some relief to the heat over the next 7 days. Love the dress, by the way.
Thank you, Michael.
Live look outside, dark early, sun up at 6:37. Temperatures on this Saturday morning, upper 60s, lower 70s. Calm wind, Birmingham and Anniston. Very light east-northeast wind, T-Town at 3. Hour-by-hour forecast as you rise and shine on this Saturday morning. Again, the sun up at 6:37. You're going to need those sunglasses. Going to kick it by the pool. Don't forget the sunscreen today. Or if you're just going to be out doing some yard work, don't forget to hydrate, lightweight, light color clothing, because temperatures are going to quickly get back into the low and mid 90s. Or maybe you're just going to kick back and watch some Netflix and chill. I feel you. All right. Auburn game day. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock. Temperatures in the lower 90s, tailgating temperatures, low to mid 90s. Alabama game day kickoff at 11 o'clock this morning. Temperatures near 90, and as the game wraps up, pretty sure it's not going to be 94. Let's subtract 10 degrees from that. Okay, here's a look at the next 7 days. Cold front approaches Monday, about a 30% chance of a couple of showers and or storms. Starting to clear out Tuesday and turning noticeably cooler really Monday night into Tuesday with overnight temperatures. That's going to be nice and refreshing and fall-like. In the upper 50s, afternoon highs below average. Again, average high right around 82, 83. We're going to dip down to 80, give or take Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. Lots of sunshine, but again, I welcome it with open arms. Just a few more days of summer-like heat. Alex?
All right, looking good. Thank you, Michael. Well, to this story, you'll only see it right here on CBS 42. A father is speaking on camera for the first time in 10 months since his son was arrested and accused of supporting ISIS. Earlier this month, 19-year-old Peyton Pruitt was found not guilty by reason of mental defect. CBS 42 News reporter Jamie Ostroff has this exclusive story.
When word spreads that authorities have arrested someone for soliciting support to ISIS,
people in Pell City are reacting.
It's natural to worry.
I'm glad that they caught him.
But as the father of the accused can testify, there's always another side to the story.
He's my little buddy. He's my hero. Peyton likes animals, pets, his puppy, which is now not a puppy anymore, video games, watches Netflix, loves being around people.
Peyton Pruitt was arrested last November. He was charged with soliciting support for a terrorist act after staff at a school where Peyton lived noticed some suspect behavior. Peyton had bought a book about ISIS, watched a documentary about ISIS, and communicated with people who appeared to be affiliated with ISIS on social media. Tony Pruitt says all of these things are true. However,
this whole thing, in my opinion, and as well as I know Peyton, was like a video game. I've spoken to him several times about it, and he understands that he did wrong, but his intentions were not to ever hurt anyone.
See, Peyton Pruitt is intellectually disabled.
He has autism, and he's mentally retarded with ADD.
This is a copy of one of Peyton's achievement assessments from earlier this year. It shows he has the cognitive ability of an 8-year-old, even though he's 19.
The pain for me was seeing and trying to understand what his mind is going through as an 8-year-old being handcuffed and put in the back of a police car.
Evaluations like this one were enough for a judge to find Peyton Pruitt not guilty by reason of mental defect. Yet, he's still in jail, while a judge decides whether to commit Peyton or send him home.
I know there will always be people that won't understand this situation, but I have to publicly apologize that it has happened and just want my boy home where he belongs.
Well, in a new development in the case, Peyton Pruitt will undergo another mental evaluation next week. The family will hold a peaceful protest outside the St. Clair County Courthouse Tuesday afternoon. Protesters gather in downtown Atlanta to bring attention to the police shooting death of Keith Lamont Scott and Terrence Crutcher. Many gathered last night at the Center for Civil and Human Rights, including the Georgia chapter of the NAACP. The Atlanta Police Department says they've learned many lessons from an earlier round of protests back in July. There are also calls for the community to reflect on relations between police and neighbors. Developing now, the Oklahoma medical examiner says the unarmed man killed by a Tulsa police officer died of a gunshot wound to the chest. The police officer involved in that shooting has been charged with first-degree manslaughter. Manuel Rodriguez brings us the newest developments.
Tulsa officer Betty Shelby turned herself into police less than a week after she shot and killed Terrence Crutcher.
Each of us at the end of our days will have to account for our own actions.
Shelby is accused of unlawfully and unnecessarily shooting Crutcher following his refusal to comply with her lawful orders. Prosecutors say the defendant's fear resulted in her unreasonable actions. Crutcher's twin sister is grateful for the decision, but says it's not enough.
We know the history of these cases. We know she's been charged, but then we get no convictions. We're demanding full prosecution.
Shelby was responding to a call when she encountered Crutcher's abandoned vehicle. Video from a police helicopter shows Crutcher walking toward his SUV, hands in the air.
This guy's still walking.
According to an affidavit filed Thursday, Crutcher was not responding to any of Officer Shelby's commands to stop and reached in the driver's side front window. But lawyers for Crutcher's family say images show that window was up.
The prosecutor bought the case that he felt that he could get a conviction on, and so we're going to hold him to that standard.
Shelby faces a minimum of 4 years in prison if convicted. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Tulsa.
We've learned that Officer Shelby was immediately released after posting $50,000 bond. Right now, a Bessemer police officer is recounting allegedly being refused service at a local drive-thru. Now, this incident comes at a time with heightened sensitivity between police and the public. Bessemer officer Don Cartier described on Facebook how he ordered a small ice cream, and when he pulled up to the window, the employee's reaction, well, it wasn't great. Cartier says the Sonic employee sat his ice cream down and just completely ignored him. Another employee asked what was going on, but the first employee ignored the officer yet again. Now, we've reached out to Sonic and we received this statement that says in part, quote, "Since learning of the allegation, the franchise who owns and operates the drive-in began an immediate investigation and found that the drive-in was understaffed during the time. Now, the franchise has worked with the police officer and the chief of police to ensure this misunderstanding will not affect the positive relationship that this drive-in has with the community of Bessemer." Officer Cartier was a good sport about the whole incident and said despite what happened, he wouldn't hesitate to protect and serve that employee. New this morning, we're just 3 days away from the first presidential debate, and the candidates are getting ready. Mark Meredith is in our Washington newsroom this morning with how Trump and Clinton are preparing.
This morning, both presidential candidates are turning to their surrogates for help on the campaign trail because they've got to cram for the big debate. It's just 3 days away now. That event's set to get underway Monday night right outside of New York City. And if you're thinking about watching it, you won't be alone. It's estimated up to 100 million people could tune in for Monday's matchup. With the debates so close, Hillary Clinton is not scheduled to hold any major campaign events this weekend. Her opponent, though, Donald Trump, he's set to hold at least one rally that's going to be happening in Virginia, a swing state, on Saturday. While Clinton is off the trail this weekend, she is getting some star power to campaign on her behalf. Several members of the hit show The West Wing, including Emmy Award winner Allison Janney, will campaign in the battleground state of Ohio. Monday's debate will not feature any third-party candidates. They would have needed 15% support in the polls to make it in this time around. There's still a chance, though, they could make it for future debates. It all gets underway 9 o'clock Eastern on Monday night. That's a quick look at your morning mix in politics. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington.
As always, thank you, Mark. Well, new this morning, police are releasing more transcripts in the deadly Pulse Orlando nightclub shooting. Now, these latest tapes are between gunman Omar Mateen and a hostage negotiator. He repeatedly told police he was a soldier of ISIS. Now, in the transcript, Mateen repeatedly cited U.S. actions in Syria and Iraq motivated his attack. He also demanded the U.S. stop bombings in Syria and Iraq, accusing the U.S. of killing innocent people. Happening tomorrow, Israel's prime minister will meet with both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. The meetings will take place in New York City. The prime minister met with President Obama on Wednesday in what was likely their last face-to-face consultation. The relationship between the leaders has been contentious at times, but they celebrated a long-term $38 billion aid package. An appeals court rules against a lawsuit filed by a Mobile woman who says she was passed over for a job because of her hairstyle. The EEOC claims this was a violation of the Civil Rights Act, arguing that dreadlocks are a racial characteristic that have been used to negatively stereotype people of color. However, the court found that it is within companies' legal rights to not offer employment based on a race-neutral grooming policy. Well, your time right now, it is 5:41. We have good news if you live in Jefferson County. Ahead, the office, that's reopening. But next, neighbors clean up after this tornado. Look at that video. Where the storm hit, we're going to let you know right after the break here on CBS 42 Morning News.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. A live look outside. Sun up at 6:37. Temperatures not too shabby right now. Upper 60s, lower 70s, and we're going to hang out in the lower 70s through 7 o'clock this morning. But once that sun comes up, we're quickly going to jump right back into the mid 80s by 10 o'clock this morning, 11 o'clock, the upper 80s, and right back into the low and mid 90s for our highs. Average high is 82, so 94 above the mark. We'll take what we can get, and we're going to get a cold front in here over the next 7 days to knock some of this heat out of here. Good morning to you, Hamilton, 66, 73, Alabaster, Clanton checking in at 70. So here's a look at the cold front back off to our west. Behind it, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Out ahead of it, where we are, in the 70s. Storm track radar over the last 24 hours. I want to take you into parts of the Four Corners and the Rockies here. This is Salt Lake City. Big area of low pressure, showers and snow showers with this big, strong area of low pressure with that cold front. And in fact, this front meant business in parts of Utah. So I want to show you what some neighbors are doing this morning. They're cleaning up after this tornado touchdown in Utah. I believe we have video of that. If we do, can we take the Utah and the tornado? Thank you very much. So again, neighbors cleaning up after a tornado touchdown in the area in Utah. You can see that damage there, including how the storm sent fencing through cars like arrows. Now, despite the damage, some homeowners are saying they're just downright lucky because the storm could have been much worse. Dozens of deputies responded after the I guess the storm was reported, and only minor injuries that we know of so far on this Saturday morning.
You look at that video and it's amazing that there were only minor injuries because the extensive damage there, oh my goodness, they're going to be cleaning up for a long time.
They will be cleaning up, but no major injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. Good news there. Well, if you live in Jefferson County, we also have some good news for you. It will soon be much easier for you to renew car tags and do other government business. The Jefferson County Commission is planning to reopen the satellite courthouse in Gardendale. This comes after they voted to renew the lease agreement. It closed in 2008 when the county filed for bankruptcy. The County Commission plans to have the Gardendale satellite office reopened by the 1st of next year. Well, we're going to turn now to sports. Chris Brees is here with those headlines.
Auburn, LSU, one team is going to go away with a coach on a serious hot seat, just a matter of the way you look at it. Auburn's been atrocious their last 12 SEC games, just 2-10 in that span. And if you were not a believer that Gus Malzahn's job is on the line, all you had to do is listen to him talk this week, because he sounds like a guy who knows he has to win immediately, because Auburn's staring 5-7 in the face if they lose today.
I fully understand our fan base is disappointed, and they should be. Bottom line is we got to coach our players better, and that starts with me. The fact is we're close. Matter of fact, we're real close to being a good team, and we're going to get this thing turned around.
Now, it's a little different for Les Miles, maybe a little harder, because the LSU faithful expect an SEC title every year. They have not done it since 2011, and we talked to Paul Feinbaum about who's on the hotter seat today, Les Miles or Gus Malzahn.
I think Malzahn has more wiggle room, but they are both trending toward extremely hot seats with a loss. I mean, the loser is in terrible shape.
Yeah, especially Les Miles, the fact that he could basically be out of the SEC title race if they lose. Alabama probably not going to have as many problems with Kent State as Auburn will with LSU, but watch for the running backs today. It's been the explosive sophomore Damian Harris, not only impressive, but he's been dominant. Yards per carry, 9.1. The kid's a stud, and he learned from Derrick Henry and Kenyon Drake last year.
I think it really helped me a lot this year as far as seeing how the game needed to be played. I mean, everybody knows you have to run the ball, you have to block, and you have to hold on to the ball, but there's so many little things that those guys taught me that I would have never even thought that I needed to know.
Hard to believe, but after last night, high school football is halfway through their regular season, and our game of the week was a grudge match over in Tuscaloosa. Hillcrest and Tuscaloosa County. This one at home for Hillcrest, 5-0. The other team, County, trying to play spoilers, but early on, not so well for the spoilers. Cole Frederick from 1 yard out on the keeper. It's 14-0 Pats. This game was all about special teams miscues and defensive blunders. Missed field goal there for Tuscaloosa County, kept the game 14-0. And then Hillcrest has a blocked kick going back the other way, but Tuscaloosa County could not do anything in this game last night. Hillcrest comes away the big winner. How about a 5-0 start for the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies, and their games have not even been close, and they were barking early on. Noah Igbignuini Skates 31 yards to pay dirt, 7-0 Hewitt-Trussville. And then it's the guy with a tough name. He's tougher to tackle. Let's try the name one more time. Noah Ibignagany. Got it, Chris Womack. 164 yards, 2 scores by halftime. Hewitt-Trussville runs away 55-0. Their old foe, their old counterpart, Clay Chalkville, lost for the first time in the regular season in 3 years 2 weeks ago, taking on 7-8 James Clemens last night. And just before half, Nico Collins, 45-yard pickup inside the red zone, but they had to settle for 3, and it's huge because they did not have very many opportunities after that. The Jets looked to capitalize, but going back the other way, the Cougars, Jamarlin Sewell with the interception in the end zone. But that was about it for the highlights for Clay Chalkville. They've now lost 2 out of 3 regular season games. They fall 28-6 to James Clemens. If you're looking for a score that you did not see in these highlights, we've got it on our website, WIT.com.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, your time right now, it is 5:51. California continues to deal with massive wildfires. Ahead, the latest fire to start and what could be behind the cause. We'll let you know right here on CBS 42 Morning News. Look at that beautiful view of Birmingham. We'll be right back.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back, everyone. Right now, firefighters in California continue to battle wildfires. The latest one is the 3rd fire at the Vandenberg Air Force Base. Now, the new fire has burned dozens of acres on the base, which is about 65 miles northwest of Santa Barbara. Teams from nearby departments are helping out. Now, air tankers dropped water and retardant to slow the fire. Firefighters continue to figure out how the fire started, but down power lines have been found. Oof, not a good scene there at all.
That whacked out weather, so dry, where they need the rain,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
My goodness.
Oh,
well, it's fall, and
Yeah.
as you've been saying, we're all going to kind of still experience those hot temperatures.
For the weekend,
Yeah.
yep. So if you want to enjoy one more summer-like weekend, now my crystal ball is as big as large as the next 7 days. Okay, so.
Yes.
I'm grasping at straws here, but enjoy today and tomorrow because it will be hot. The heat is on. All right, temperatures this morning currently in the upper 60s, lower 70s. Good morning to you, Anniston. 68, 70 T-Town, 73 right now in Birmingham. Sun up at 6:37. Once the sun rises, it'll do its number on the numbers. Back into the lower 80s at 9, upper 80s by 11 o'clock this morning, and we're not done climbing. Temperatures will top out near 94, average high for this time of year, 82 to 83 degrees, so well above the mark. This is the coolest point of the morning, so get out there, get your stroll on, your jog on, whatever it may be. Railroad parkers, I know you, I see you out there in the middle of the afternoon heat. If you're going to do that, just remember to hydrate. H2O, the best way to go. 68 Coleman, Pell City, checking in at 68. Clanton's at 70. So let me show you the setup. High pressure right on top of us. The air sinks and compresses. Compressing air, that means the air will warm up very fast. Watching this, a legitimate cold front back off to our northwest. Temperatures behind the front in the 40s and 50s. This front is on the move. Showers and storms out ahead of the front, and even some Rocky Mountain snow with this area of low pressure trailing front. Doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with, but it will push the heat out of here. Storm tracker radar nice and quiet. No big changes with that expected as we kick off the weekend and some football. Alabama game day in T-Town, kickoff temperatures right around 90. Auburn is playing LSU at Auburn. Lower 90s for the kickoff. Here's a look at the next 3 and 7 days. Slight chance for a few showers and storms out ahead of the front Monday. Behind the front, noticeably cooler and much more comfortable. Overnight temperatures in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Afternoon highs. How do you like them apples in the upper 70s to near 80 Wednesday and Thursday? Alex?
Yeah, Michael, I like them. Looking good. Well, your time right now, it is 5:57. We're going to this after the break. We continue to follow breaking news from Washington State after a man shoots inside a mall. Next, we have continuing coverage as police search for the man who killed 4 women. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News. That story and much more right after the break.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Breaking overnight, we're going to go straight to this video you see here. New information in a deadly shooting at a Washington State mall. Authorities say a fifth victim has died. Meanwhile, the search is still on for the man police believe is behind the shooting. We've been following this developing story all morning long, and we're going to continue to have updates for you right here on the show, so stay with us. But first, before we get to the rest of this and much more, we are going to check in with Storm Track meteorologist Michael Smith. And for those of you that are just waking up with us, good morning to you. Happy Saturday. And it is fall, Michael.
It's fall.
People are loving that. I know I am.
Yeah, you're going to really love the next, let's say, 7 days.
Ooh.
If you want to taste the fall,
Yes.
ain't happening today.
Oh.
Sorry, nor tomorrow. It's going to feel just like summer. Good morning to you, Central Alabama. Live look outside across the Magic City. Sun up in 36 minutes at 6:37, give or take. So it's 6:01 right now. All right, 74 Beham on the thermometer, east-northeast wind at 3, upper 60s, Anniston and Tuscaloosa where the wind is calm and the sky is clear. Once the sun rises, temperatures out of the upper 60s at lower 70s and quickly shooting into the mid-80s by 10 o'clock this morning, 11 o'clock the upper 80s approaching the low 90s for the noon hour. And again, not done climbing with the temperatures. 94, that's the forecast for today. Birmingham topped out at 96 yesterday. Average high for this time of year right around 82 or 83. So this is the coolest point of the morning. Good morning to you, Pell City, 67, 68, Anniston, 65, and Gadsden, 71, Alex City. Big picture here. Cold front back off to the northwest. Big, kind of strong cold front. Out ahead of the front, temperatures very warm. Upper 70s, lower 80s, back behind the front, temperatures in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. That front's on the move. It'll mix up our forecast as we get into the middle of the upcoming week. But until then, if you're going to be out there in T-Town for the game, kickoff temperatures in the low 90s. It's going to be hot. And Auburn's got a big game playing LSU at Auburn. Kickoff temperatures in the lower 90s. I'll be back in just a few minutes with my Storm Track 7-day forecast.
It was more like a shot, and then 2 seconds later, another shot, so crazy, crazy.
Breaking overnight, police continue to search for the man they believe shot several people at a Washington State shopping mall. 4 women were killed in the shooting. Another victim was airlifted to a local hospital in critical condition. Police say he died earlier this morning. Police say the man is dressed in all black and armed with a rifle. He was last seen walking towards the interstate after the shooting. Authorities are also working to figure out a motive. Now, police are still looking for survivors as they continue their sweep through the mall.
You're going to have people that are probably hiding in pretty clever spots trying to avoid what was going on. So you do your first initial clearance, then you do your secondaries, then you got EMS going with you. So we're going to be looking this place over thoroughly.
People are asking, or I should say police are asking people to stay indoors as the search for the suspect continues. The FBI is helping local police with this investigation. Stay with us as we continue to learn more. Now turning our attention to this. A 4th night of protests in North Carolina comes to an end. Charlotte police say protesters were dispersing peacefully and without incident. Police dressed in riot gear after previous demonstrations this week turned violent. Protesters have been on the streets following the death of Keith Lamont Scott. He was shot to death by police on Tuesday. Scott's family and protesters are urging police to release body camera footage from the incident. Listen to what the police chief says.
If I were to put it out indiscriminately and it doesn't give you good context, it can inflame the situation.
Police say they recovered a gun at the scene. However, witnesses and Scott's wife say that he didn't have a gun. His family says he was carrying a book. Right now, a Bessemer police officer says he was refused service at a local drive-thru. Officer Don Cartier says he ordered a small ice cream, but when he pulled around to the window to pay and pick up his order, he says the employee refused to acknowledge him. Officer Cartier says the Sonic employee sat his ice cream down and completely ignored him. He says she even walked out to the drive-thru there and gave customers behind him their food and their orders. Well, another employee questioned her a few minutes later about the officer's order, and she said he ignored him again. Now we're showing you this right here. We reached out to Sonic and received the statement that said, in part, since learning of the allegation, the franchisee who owns and operates the drive-in began an immediate investigation and found that the drive-in was understaffed during the time. Now the franchisee has worked with the police officer and the chief of police to ensure this misunderstanding will not affect the positive relationship that this drive-in has with the community of Bessemer. Now, Officer Cartier said on his Facebook page that despite what happened, he wouldn't hesitate not one bit to protect and serve the woman. He even offered a prayer to help her understand that he's not the enemy. Right now in Fairfield, police are investigating a shooting that killed 2 men on Friday. It started after 2 men got into a fight at a Chevron on Lloyd Nolan Parkway. Police say one of them got into a car and drove away after shooting at each other. Now, the driver wrecked near Gary Avenue, and he died right there on the scene. The other person involved was taken to the hospital. He later died. So far, police have not released the names of the men involved. Well, in a story you'll only see here on CBS 42, a father is opening up for the first time on camera. His teenage son was arrested 10 months ago and accused of supporting ISIS. Now his father is asking for forgiveness and understanding after 19-year-old Peyton Pruitt is found not guilty by reason of mental defect. Peyton Pruitt is still in the St. Clair County Jail. That's because the not guilty verdict has some strings attached. Peyton will undergo another mental evaluation before a judge decides whether to send him home or commit him. His father, Tony Pruitt, says his son is intellectually disabled and has the mind of an 8-year-old. He says Peyton doesn't understand that a fascination with ISIS and Syrian affairs could be considered suspicious or dangerous.
He understands that he did wrong, but his intentions were not to ever hurt anyone. And per the evaluations that we've had over and over, he is not a threat to our community or himself.
Tony Pruitt says he's thankful for the support he's gotten throughout his struggle to bring his son home, and that he's sorry for everything the community had to go through. The Pruitts, their lawyer, and other supporters will have a peaceful protest Tuesday afternoon. That's happening on the steps of the St. Clair County Courthouse. After refusing to make an endorsement at the Republican National Convention, Ted Cruz announces he's voting for Donald Trump after all. Cruz was booed after telling convention attendees to vote with your conscience. Cruz says Trump's list of Supreme Court nominees made him more comfortable with supporting him, but says they still have their differences.
I'm not going to deny that I have had some differences with the Republicans. But I could also tell you what I'm absolutely certain, which is that Hillary Clinton is a train wreck who would be a disaster for this country.
The endorsement comes just days before the first presidential debate. Trump will face off against Hillary Clinton Monday night. New this morning, the FBI releases nearly 200 pages of notes from its probe of Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. Now, the notes come from interviews with a number of Clinton top aides and supporters, but experts say there's no surprising information. The release comes after it was revealed a top Clinton aide received a limited immunity deal with the FBI in exchange for cooperating with the investigation. New this morning, President Obama vetoes a bill that would have allowed family members of 9/11 victims to sue Saudi Arabia. The measure was approved by Congress earlier this year. The Saudi government has denied having any role in the 9/11 attacks. The president says he vetoed the measure because it could lead to U.S. diplomats and servicemen facing legal action in other countries. It could also hurt U.S. national security interests and make the war on terror more difficult. Well, supporters of the bill in Congress pledged to override the veto next week. If they succeed, it would be the first override of Obama's presidency. Well, your time right now at 6:10. One local organization is looking for new volunteers, and they're looking for you. After the break, we sit down with the big brothers, big sisters to find out how you can help such a great organization. Michael?
Thank you, Alex. Live look outside on this Saturday morning. Beautiful sunrise in the making, sun up in about 27 minutes. My forecast straight ahead.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. Thank you so much for joining us on this gorgeous start. Sun up in about 20 minutes, give or take. It's a beautiful sunrise in the making as we look off to the east. Skies are clear, temperatures upper 60s, low to mid 70s. Good morning, Birmingham coming in at 74. Anniston checking in at 68. T-Town 69. Okay, once the sun comes up, temperatures quickly get back into the mid and upper 80s, eventually the low to mid 90s. Average high for this time of year is 83. Yesterday we topped out at 96. So again, we're going to make a run for the upper 80s as soon as 11 o'clock this morning. By 12 o'clock this afternoon, lower 90s. And again, not done climbing. Forecasting 94 right around 3 o'clock this afternoon. So if you're going to be outdoors, lightweight, light color clothing, football games, couple of big ones here in the state of Alabama. Just hydrate, stay cool, play it safe, and enjoy. Good morning to you. Talladega 67 right now, 66 in Hamilton. Alex City checking in at 71, Clanton at 69. Okay, so it feels like summer again today and tomorrow. Here's the reason why. High pressure right on top of us, sinking air, and that compresses the air, that warms it up real fast. On the backside of this area of high pressure, the air coming in out of the Gulf, lifting that pretty warm and moist air out of the Gulf as far north as Kansas City. Cold front, on the flip side of it, temperatures are in the 30s and 40s. That front is a big game changer, pun intended, for our forecast, but not today. Looking ahead to Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Real quick, Alabama game day, kickoff at 11, temperatures low 90s, and Auburn kickoff at 5 o'clock this evening. Kickoff time, 5 o'clock. Double check the font. Yes. Okay, lower 90s. I'll have more on my Storm Track 7-day forecast, including the big cool down in just a few minutes. Alex?
Thank you, Michael. Happening today, 48 Hours is back on CBS 42 tonight, and you're going to see a familiar face. Blount County District Attorney Pamela Casey will be featured in the hour. Now, tonight's episode focuses on the case of Nicole Lovell, a Blacksburg, Virginia teenager who was found murdered near her home. Casey talks about how the rise of social media and popular apps could lead to dangerous situations that may end in tragedy like Lovell's. Now, 48 Hours premieres tonight at 9 o'clock right here on CBS 42, followed by the CBS 42 News at 10. New this morning, it's a story to warm your heart. A Desert Storm veteran who spent the last few months in the hospital is back home with his family. But first, he made a very special stop at the Prattville football field on his way home. So cute. Kenneth Smith, a Desert Storm veteran, has struggled with blood pressure problems and was released from the hospital on Thursday. He'd been there quite a while and had to have his leg amputated. His son Brady has only been able to see his father briefly. The Smith family now says they're looking forward to spending time together at home, something that they haven't been able to do in quite some time. Wonderful story. Well, in entertainment news, a hacker is reportedly trying to sell Pippa Middleton's photos. She's the sister of Prince William's wife, Kate Middleton. Around 3,000 pictures may have been stolen from her iCloud account. The pictures include Pippa and her fiancé getting ready for their upcoming wedding, plus pictures of the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate, and Prince William's children. The palace isn't commenting right now. Now, the seller is allegedly demanding $65,000 for pictures. Also new this morning, Backstreet's back. All right. I know my 90s babies know that song, right? The Backstreet Boys will hold a larger-than-life residency at the Planet Hollywood Hotel and Casino in Vegas between March 1st and July 1st of next year, so mark your calendars. Tickets for the 18 shows are on sale starting next week. The group says it will be an amazing, energetic, and fun party show, and I'm sure it will. Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, Boyz II Men, and Jennifer Lopez are just some of the musical acts already performing in Vegas. A lot of fun there. Happening today, the new National Museum of African American History and Culture will open its doors to the public. President Obama will be headlining the dedication ceremony on the National Mall. The museum chronicles more than 200 years of Black history in America. It's the only national museum devoted exclusively to the documentation of African American life, history, and culture. The Birmingham Civil Rights Institute will celebrate the opening of the Smithsonian Museum. There will be a screening of the grand opening at 12 p.m. today, followed by workshops, speakers, artists, and a whole lot more. Well, your time right now, it is 6:18. Music lovers, you're going to like this. We have an event that we're going to tell you about. Next, all the details on the function in the Junction. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News. Thanks so much for waking up with us. We'll be right back after the break.
watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, if you love different genres of music, then you'll want to head to this event happening today. The 31st annual Function in the Junction Jazz Festival is set for today. It's in Erskine Hawkins Park at the corner of Ensley Avenue and 19th Street. This is one of the earlier festivals that we're showing you right now. Organizers say this is a day of free music, family fun, and a chance to give the neighborhood a boost. Wonderful there. Well, the Jazz Festival begins at 11 a.m. and goes until 9 p.m., so plenty of time for you all to get out and enjoy. Some of the artists scheduled to perform include Alvin Garrett and Theodis Ealey. Michael?
All right, good day to get out there and get your groove on, your moves on. But remember this, it's going to be blistering hot for this time of year. Starting out on this Saturday morning, live look outside. Sun up in just a few minutes, 6:37, so a good looking start as we kick off the weekend. Temperatures not too bad right now, although our average low for this time of year, or what we should be waking up to, 62, so the lower 60s. We'll take what we can get. Good morning to you, Anniston, 68, 69. T-Town, Birmingham, checking in at 74. So quickly climbing into the middle 80s by 10, the upper 80s, 11, lower 90s, 12 o'clock this afternoon. And continuing to soar, going to top out right around 94, give or take a degree or two. Yesterday, Birmingham Shuttlesworth International reported a high of 96. Again, average high for this time of year, 82. So above the mark. Technically, it's fall, but it's feeling just like summer for the next few days. Changes around the corner. Good morning to you, Clanton, 69 right now on your thermometer, 70 Alex City. Coleman checking in at 68, 63. Was that an 8? I think that was a 68 in Jasper. Okay, regardless, a degree or two, upper 60s, lower 70s. High pressure in charge. So this area of high pressure is keeping us dry. It's also keeping us hot. On the backside of this area of high pressure, the wind comes in out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's a warm wind. Temperatures in the low 70s as far north as Kansas City. And then a few hundred miles back off to the north and west, temperatures are in the 50s, 30s, and 40s. 39 right now, Denver, the mile-high city. So this is a front, cold front that we're watching, and this front will change up our forecast as we look ahead to the middle of this upcoming work week. So it's going to feel like fall in just a few days. If maybe you've got some plans, you're going to travel into the Rockies or across the Rockies, there's some mountain snow. This is just one example of how powerful this storm system is right now, at least with the cold air. So it's got a good push of cooler and drier air with it. By the time it reaches us, the front and the showers and storms kind of stretched out and kind of fallen apart. So the storm chance not real high. Okay, I tell you what's real big and real high, the temperatures and the football that's going on across the state of Alabama. Alabama and Kent State kick off at 11 o'clock, temperatures in the low 90s. Auburn, game time at 5 o'clock, temperatures in the low 90s. So it's going to be hot. Just stay hydrated, lightweight, light colored clothing. Don't forget, at least mix in some water with whatever it is you're drinking as we head through the weekend. There we go. Boom. On Tuesday, cold front passes, overnight temperatures much more comfortable in the upper 50s and cooler, I might add, with afternoon highs near 80 Wednesday and Thursday. Alex?
All right, thank you, Michael. Your time right now, it is 6:25. A community tries to heal after a deadly shooting rocks the city. Still ahead, the meeting in Tulsa after an unarmed man is shot by police. That update for you and much more coming up right after the break here on CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up with us. If you're just joining us, it is 6:28. We have about 32 minutes left. Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing swell.
Yeah.
I was dancing to our
music. As you were coming in, Michael was doing a little dance. I'm Alex Finney. Thanks so much for joining us. Michael Smith, as always, is here to give us our forecast. And Michael, as we've been saying all morning, or you've been saying, I should say, it's fall, but it's still going to be pretty hot.
It's still going to feel like summer, at least for a couple of more days. But if you're ready for some fall-like weather,
yes,
I know, me too.
Bring it on.
Bring it. Let's bring a cold front in. We're going to do that, or let's say the atmosphere will do that on its own over the next few days. Live look outside, beautiful start. High and dry. Temperatures now upper 60s, lower 70s, plenty of sunshine. In fact, wall-to-wall sunshine this morning and to the afternoon. Here's what you need to know to plan your Saturday accordingly. All right, by 10 o'clock this morning, mid-80s. Our average high for this time of year is 83. So once again, up and above the mark with our temperature this afternoon. Yesterday, 96, forecasting 93 at 2, mainly sunny, and not done climbing. Shooting for at least 94 around 3 o'clock, and then temperatures will slowly, and I mean slowly, fall back into the upper 80s by 6 p.m., and the sun does not go down, P.S., at 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. So those icons were just, for whatever reason, incorrect. It will be sunny at 4 and 5 and 6. Okay, temperatures, good morning to you. Aliceville 69, 66 right now, and Hamilton, Pell City checking in at 67. Real quick, here's that cold front we're tracking and watching. This will sweep through Wednesday into Thursday. The 90s are out of here. Much cooler and comfortable air arrives. I'll have more coming up in my Storm Track 7-day forecast.
Looking good. Thank you, Michael. New this morning, turning our attention to this. Nearly 100 people in Tulsa, Oklahoma came together at a community meeting, and the goal was to find a way to move forward after a deadly officer-involved shooting last week. Last week, Terrence Crutcher died after being shot by Officer Betty Shelby. She's now charged with manslaughter for Crutcher's death. Now, the community says they aren't protesting. All they want is to simply make Tulsa a better place after this tragedy.
We have open arms. We want to hear the voice of the people, and so we can go ahead and move forward to a solution.
Peace, love, tranquility, screaming kumbaya, all my Tulsa peeps. Let's just work it out.
The group behind the event says they will read through all the suggestions, then take time, or some of them, to city leaders and lawmakers. New this morning, the CDC says aggressive aerial spraying has likely helped stop local transmission of the Zika virus in Wynwood, Florida, which is right in the Miami area. No new cases of locally transmitted Zika have been reported in the Miami neighborhood since early August. Now, the government is still recommending that pregnant women and partners avoid mosquito bites. New this morning, a South Alabama sheriff's deputy resigns after writing what some people are calling a racist Facebook post. The Geneva County Sheriff's Officer says Deputy Josh Myers resigned on Friday. And Myers' post said on Facebook page back in July after 5 officers were gunned down in Dallas, it read as this, quote, "Black Lives Matter. You want a war? Come for it." Well, Myers denied creating the post, blaming it on hackers. But after an investigation, authorities found that he, in fact, did write that post. Sheriff Tony Helms says the office does not tolerate inflammatory posts. Right now, police are still working to identify a man found dead inside a Birmingham motel room. Police were called to the King's Inn on 3rd Avenue North Thursday afternoon. An employee at the motel found the body and called 911. Police say the victim appears to have been shot. Now, the body is at the county coroner and is being looked at for positive identification. Anyone with information is asked to call Birmingham police. New this morning, a Pennsylvania man is in custody after a routine traffic stop turns into a drug bust. State troopers stopped the SUV Friday for tailgating. Now, after getting permission to search the car, here's what troopers found. Well, in a secret compartment, 1,500 stamp bags of heroin and $380,000 in cash were found inside that car.
I really can't go in depth about how he knew or what indicators tipped him off to believe that this vehicle was transporting a significant amount of drugs, in this particular case heroin.
State troopers say they will try and seize the cash and vehicle to fund more drug busts. As for the driver, he's being held on a $100,000 bond. New this morning, a man who admitted to slamming a coconut cream pie in the face of Sacramento Mayor Kevin Johnson makes his first court appearance. Sean Thompson says he's an activist with Occupy Sacramento. He claims his years of peaceful protesting didn't get enough done. Well, so he decided to act, and this is how he did it. Mayor Johnson hit back, punching Thompson in the eye at least twice. Thompson remains in jail on $100,000 bond. Now, a judge also ordered him to stay away from Johnson. A Shelby County couple accused of forcing their young son to stay outside without food or water for several days and nights is heading to trial. Now, we first told you about this story back in April after Matthew and Catherine Rowe were accused of child abuse charges. Police say the Columbiana couple forced their 7-year-old son to spend 3 days and 2 nights outside, even when temperatures dip below 40 degrees. They will appear in court November 7th to enter a plea. Well, right now, turning our attention to this story, the firing of Birmingham City School Superintendent Dr. Kelly Caslin Gakutan has school board divided. She was terminated Thursday night with a 6-3 vote. Some board members say it's an embarrassment to the school system. Others voiced frustration about what was called an unauthorized use of money. Now the board hopes to move the school system in the right direction.
As parents, I want them to know that our school system will be okay. We've made it through some hard times and made some really tough decisions in the past, and we'll continue to do that if it's the right thing to do for our children.
Dr. Larry Contry will fill in as interim superintendent. To give you a little bit of background on him, he has been with the Birmingham City school system since 1967. An appeals court rules against a lawsuit filed on behalf of a Mobile woman. Now, she says she was passed over for a job because of her hairstyle. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed the lawsuit against Catastrophe Management Solutions on behalf of Chastity Jones. Now, the commission says it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, arguing that dreadlocks are a racial characteristic that's been used to negatively stereotype people of color. But the court says it's within the company's legal rights to not offer employment based on a race-neutral grooming policy. New this morning, fire crews at Vandenberg Air Force Base are battling the 3rd fire there in just a week. The new fire burned dozens of acres on the base, about 65 miles northwest of Santa Barbara. Teams from nearby fire departments are helping out, along with air tankers and ground crews. Early reports say downed power lines may be behind those flames. No injuries have been reported. New this morning, the governor of Iowa is activating the National Guard to help people deal with torrential flooding. Take a look at this video here. Iowa Governor Terry Branstad also issued disaster proclamations for 13 counties. Some people are moving their possessions to higher ground, while others plan to wait out the swelling Cedar River in Waverly. People in the town say no matter what happens, they'll be ready to lend a hand to those in need. The governor will tour flood-affected areas today. Happening today, Child Passenger Safety Week wraps up, and Safe Kids Tuscaloosa is teaming up with West Alabama law enforcement to keep children safe. Safe Kids Tuscaloosa is hosting a safety seat checkpoint today. Certified safety seat technicians will be on hand to help parents properly install car seats. It's happening from 9 to 1 at Northport Fire Station 1. Appointments must be made in advance. We're going to have details on our website for you guys. Well, your time right now, it is 6:37. One local organization is looking for new volunteers, and they're looking for you. After the break, we sit down with Big Brothers, Big Sisters to find out how you can help. Michael?
Thank you, Alex. Live look outside, 6:37, and yes, the sun is up. Get ready for another hot afternoon. We're going to talk about the heat and a cold front straight ahead.
Can you just count this in for me real quick?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, you good?
Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Let me just fix my dress.
Oh, let me do these glasses glare so bad.
Got to prep for a picture,
Yes.
you know?
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. Thank you so much for joining us. Live look at the sunrise in progress. Beautiful start. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s, lower 70s. Good morning, Birmingham 74. Anniston checking in at 68, Tuscaloosa 69. Get ready for another summer-like day. Technically, yes, it's fall, but temperatures are going to quickly climb into the middle 80s by 10 o'clock this morning. Not done climbing, by the way. Low 90s, 12 o'clock this afternoon. How about 94, 95 later on this afternoon? That's where we're headed. Average high for this time of year, 83 yesterday. We topped out at 96. So remember to practice that heat safety, lightweight, light color clothing, and to stay hydrated. And just to kind of, keep it cool. It is the weekend after all. So here's the setup. High pressure and control right on top of us. Watching a pretty potent cold front back to the northwest. This is going to be a game changer. Not today, but as we head into the middle of the upcoming week. Speaking of games, Alabama playing Kent State. Kickoff at, 11 o'clock this morning. Temperatures are already going to be in the lower 90s. So again, remember heat safety, stay cool, lightweight, light color clothing, mix in some water, or preferably drink lots of it as you're out and about doing some tailgating. Auburn playing at Auburn, taking on LSU. Kickoff at 5 p.m. Temperatures in the lower 90s as the game wraps up. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Real quick, a look at the next 3 and 7 days. Got to show it to you. An isolated shower or storm at best Monday, and then temperatures finally feeling like fall. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, overnight temperatures in the upper 50s, afternoon highs, ooh la la, in the lower 80s. Alex?
All right, looking good. Thank you, Michael. Well, right now, children in our area need someone to look up to. And you, yes, you, could be that person. Here with me is Brooke McKinley from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Birmingham. And thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
This is a great organization. You know, you guys have had so much success over the years. Why is it so important that you guys get good volunteers out to help these kids, mentor these young kids?
So we have found that mentors can make all the difference in a child's life. It can truly change the trajectory of a child who may be struggling and going down a path that is not maybe the best for them to achieve success. So having a mentor gives them someone to confide in, to become a friend, a cheerleader, a confidant, all of those things they may not have.
And okay, so you have people that are interested in signing up. What exactly do these mentors do? Take us through, I guess, their schedule with these kids.
Sure. So once they go through the application process, which, we always screen their background and do an interview and make sure they're a good fit for our program and working with a child. Once that happens, it's really up to the child and the volunteer. So we always say, if your Saturday is a manicure and lunch, then take your little with you. Or if you are more of an outdoors person and you're going to the park, just take your little with you. So it's really just about making them a part of your life and exposing them to new things.
And this is obviously a great organization. You guys, like I said, have had much success over the years and are going to continue to have success and continue to have great volunteers. How can people sign up if they are interested in becoming a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
So the best way to do that is to go to our website. It's bhambigs.org, and from there you can learn all about our organization and how to sign up. And then also every Thursday we have a volunteer information session at our office. So people are welcome to just drop in on any Thursday.
And for those that may not know the age group that you guys serve,
we serve children, we'll match them from age 6 to age 15, and then they stay in our program through age 18.
Gotcha. And then you can start as young as, you start with the same child from as young as 6 and just work with them all the way up?
That is our hope. We ask for a year commitment from volunteers, but most of them, once they get matched, they stay together years and years and years. And we have some that, you know, are in their 50s and up, and they're still, they become good friends, you know, and still a mentor to them. So it's really cool.
Really honing in on what you guys are known for, big brother, big sister, finding that match, finding that mentor. So fantastic. And just talk up to me just kind of about maybe some of the recent success that you guys have. Can you think of one child that really has been positively affected by your organization as of recently?
Yeah, absolutely. We serve about 1,200 children a year or so, but every now and again a story will come up that really makes an impact. And we have one child who he was matched with a big brother. His big brother taught him to learn, taught him how to play the guitar. Got him into carpentry, and he's decided he wants to become a carpenter. And just this summer, he got an internship working for a construction company. So really made an impact, something he never knew anything about, and kind of expanded his horizons.
Absolutely. Just one of many, many success stories there. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
You all, we are going to have this information on our website, WIAT.com, so head there for more. We will be right back.
All right.
Homer Brown loves table tennis.
Doing good.
In fact, for the last 47 years, he's played in a U.S. Open tournament. So he's a little better than me.
Started really playing table tennis while I was in first year of college and really enjoyed doing that. Got a college team started and then took it from there to competing in tournaments around the country. Got to see the country because of the sport. So it's really been good to me.
So good, he's made the whole tournament thing a trend.
In 1969, I traveled across the country, went to my first U.S. Open National Championships. And at that time, I had so much fun. I said, you know, really, I got to commit myself to go to every U.S. Open Nationals. So at least I do play in one tournament every year. And so right now I have 47 behind me and looking for 48 later on in this year.
18 years ago, that trend became a career.
Come on, baby. While I was working in the oil industry, Lily and I had always thought about opening up America's first table tennis store in a mall, because I thought it'd be so neat to actually be able to go into a mall and have a store where you could have a good time selling people things that they need for their house and getting them hooked on the sport of table tennis, and of course other table sports too. And you know, I traveled a lot and was on the road, and I just thought it'd be kind of neat to go to a mall every day.
Now every day his dream is open in what he calls the Bumper Nets wing of the River Chase Galleria Mall in Hoover. 3 stores with over 100 things you can play and buy. If you want to get better at a game, he can help with that too.
Are you ready?
No.
All right, here we go. You can tell this is a pretty aerobic sport. Yeah. I'll tell you.
Yes!
That's it.
I
She
beat
got
him.
me.
The owner of Bumper Nets.
That's it. She got me.
I beat him in air hockey.
Yeah, you done
Yes.
good, Lillian.
But maybe not air hockey. He has other people for that.
We're not here just to sell people things, but we want them to actually get better. And then we also offer leagues too. We have table tennis leagues. We have a pinball league that meets every Tuesday night that actually starts September 13th. And they have a great time. In fact, we're the second largest venue for pinball in the U.S.
Several of the employees are professionals at the sports offered at Bumper Nets. That's what Brown says makes them so unique.
Customers can actually get some real good feedback and recommendations from us because we really care. I've always operated with the philosophy that if you really give good service and take care of the customer, that the sales will come naturally.
In Hoover, Lillian Lalo, CBS 42.
The preceding portion of the CBS 42 Morning News was sponsored by Bumper Nets. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Hey everyone, 6:52 this morning. All right, before we round out the newscast, we are going to check in with the weather. Michael Smith, it's fall.
It's fall, feels like summer, but hang in there. Fall-like weather around the corner. Live look outside, the sun is up. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s, low to mid 70s. Good morning, Birmingham, 74, 68 right now. In Anniston, T-Town checking in at 69. Hour by hour forecast. Okay, lower 70s on the thermometer. Through, not really sure if we're still on the air, but I'm just going to have to get a little closer.